To be unmuted is to be honest, authentic, and unapologetic with your words.
Unmuted means opening up even if you feel like no one's listening.
Being able to express yourself no matter what.
To be unmuted means to be completely and truly yourself, speaking your mind and not holding anything back.
Unmuted means being unrestrained emotionally and politically.
Means waking up on a rainy day, yet still whispering poetry into the wind.
Unmuting means turning on our microphones and cranking up the volume to make sure that we are heard all over, because the time has long since passed where we sit around and wait for change to come find us.
Sorry, just making sure my mic is off. Welcome everyone to the third episode of Girls Right Now Live, Unmuted. I'm Kyla, a Girls Right Now mentee. Unmuted to me represents a new beginning. As someone who spent much of elementary and middle school reciting lies I thought would please others and avoiding beliefs that would disrupt the status quo, I found power in unmuting. The act is daunting, overwhelming, and terrifying at times, but it's also liberating. You're opening up yourself and others to truth, your truth. Regardless of how messy and confusing and raw that truth may be, it's deserving of being heard and recognized.
And I'm Lucia, a fellow mentee. To me, unmuted means unapologetically sharing your voice, It doesn't matter if there's one person listening, and it doesn't matter if 3,000 people are listening, as long as you're in the spotlight speaking what's on your mind. Being unmuted is also being vulnerable and sharing a part of your identity. On Zoom, you always run the risk of letting your classmates or colleagues listen to the day-to-day noise in your house. The good, the bad, and for me, the embarrassing. My mom seems to think that the perfect time to vacuum is when I'm on a Zoom call. Being unmuted is overcoming the fear of judgment from others to share your voice. Tonight, Kyla and I will be your MCs as we turn up the volume on boundary-pushing performances that will deepen your understanding of the world and yourself.
For more than 23 years, Girls Right Now has been a leader in arts education, a nationally award-winning nonprofit, and the first writing and mentoring organization for girls and gender-expansive teens in New York City.
At our spring performance series, we share our multimedia, multi-genre work and honor women authors and media makers who inspire us and help amplify the voices of the next generation of writers and activists. Tonight, we're thrilled to have Caitlin Greenidge, author of Liberty and Girls Right Now mentor alum, joining us as our Agent of Change honoree.
This past year has been challenging, but we at Girls Right Now know how to meet a moment. We've transformed our programming to virtual, enriched our curriculum with a focus on wellness and racial justice, and expanded our audience globally to 75,000 people. We couldn't have done any of it without our generous Agents of Change partners, our Girls Right Now Circle, our dedicated board of directors, our phenomenal staff, and all of you, our community and supporters. As a second-year mentee, I've been able to come out of my shell more. Funny enough, a large contributor to that change was Girls Right Now events being virtual. Without the ability to be in person, I was able to realize how important this community was to me. From Friday night salons to starting small mentee-led projects, I stopped being afraid of speaking up. I've also spent the majority of this year working with my mentor to draft a YA novel we started brainstorming last year during a Girls Right Now world building workshop, which you'll get to see later tonight. I'm so grateful I was able to have my mentor and the Girls Right Now community behind me during this year of handling college applications and responding to racial violence.
I feel the exact same way as Kyla. I really enjoyed receiving feedback from mentors, not just my own, and I loved working on projects with other mentees. This is my first year as a mentee, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that Girls Right Now offers to be unmuted. The support system and sense of community is so strong. I can feel the Girls Right Now spirit through a screen. I feel like Girls Right Now kept me connected with people during a very isolated time. I was introduced to my mentor, who not only helped me with my writing, but listens to all my rants about family, school, teachers, and so much more. And all of the performers you'll see tonight have worked so hard with their mentors, meeting virtually each week to put together truly incredible work.
Their stories span genres and mediums: flash fiction, visual poetry, personal essay, and animation, to name a few, and explore topics like race, family, resilience, and the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you're joining us live on YouTube tonight, we highly encourage you to get loud and share your cheers in the chat during the show.
Okay, let's get to it. Presenting Girls Right Now Live Unmuted.
Hi, I'm Lauren Keel, and my mentee is Rachel Kelly. This is our first year as a pair, and we love to make short films. I'll toss it over to Rachel to tell you more about her film.
Thank you. Yes, like Lauren said, my name is Rachel, and today I'm presenting my short film, Nothing is Normal, which features Adelaide, who was previously in my short film, Far Away is Closer Than You Think. In this short film, Adelaide deals with the fact that life isn't going back to normal after the new school year. But what is normal? I hope you enjoy the film.
Hey, it's Adelaide, and welcome to my very, very boring life. I wish the virus would just go away. I think we all do. To be able to go to school, meeting people in the subway, going to your locker. I even miss the not so great things, like getting late to class. If only we
Adelaide, what did you get for question 14?
Question 14. 37? My family has a habit of not staying in one place for very long, and even though I've lived in New York for 2 years, I don't have any close friends here. It's been months since June moved away, and it's hard for me to meet people on Zoom when Miss Scott pairs me with the most popular girl in the school.
Adelaide, you're paired with Charlotte.
Sometimes I can't resist checking my phone, where everyone's life looks so perfect. I might start an account, but it would never get popular. It's just a fact. Adelaide isn't popular, right?
Hi, I'm Mary Darby, and I'm excited to introduce to you a smart, passionate, vibrant young woman, my mentee, Jasmine Florencio. Jasmine is going to read to you a poem she wrote for her mother, and it's the first poem she's ever written.
Hi, I am Jasmine Florencio. I am a first-year mentee, and I am currently a junior in high school. And this is an ode to my mother's hands. It is an idea that I've had for a very long time, and I finally have the courage to write about it and share it right now. I've been able to see over the years how my mom demonstrates her love and affection towards me and my sisters. She does it physically and through her hands. So whether it's doing our hair, or cooking, or cleaning sometimes, or even holding our hands as we walk down the street, that's the way in which my mom conveys her love and affection. My mom is not a very emotional person. I've only seen her cry about 4 times in my life, and I'm currently 16, so that should say a lot. And this piece is titled Las Manos de mi Mamá. Dry, cracked, hard. These hands, once soft, now long for attention. Years ago, they changed my diapers. Soft and moisturized, they greeted me in the mornings and tucked me in at night. My mom's hands prepared hot coffees for years at our family's bakery. They packed orders and stocked fridges. Her bare fingertips flipped tortillas over the scorching stovetop as our tiny kitchen filled with that smoky aroma I grew up with. Her hands heated up my own little hands on cold New York City winter days, squeezing them to remind me that I was safe. But now her hands no longer function like they used to. These hands, once filled with life, are drying up. Now, these hands change my little sister's diapers, and now I am the one who warms her dry, cracked hands in mine. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tracy Miller, and I'm a mentor from Jackson Heights, Queens. I am so proud to introduce my mentee, Obenewa Adu. She's a senior this year, and she's been accepted to a 4-year college for next fall. I've been working with her for 2 years now, and I'm so proud of how she's grown as a writer. When we started meeting last fall, we realized that we both had an interest in journaling more. So we started by writing our reflections on our experiences in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic, Black Lives Matter, and the ups and downs of quarantining at home.
Hi, my name is Obenewa Adu. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut. This poem reflects our journal memories of the year 2020, as well as our conversations about our lives during lockdown. Stages of isolation. I lazily rolled out of bed at any time I pleased.
I slept in too and let my Metro card expire.
Just to make my daily walk to the kitchen, where I taught myself how to brew my homemade iced coffee.
I opened up my laptop, where my entire world lives now.
I brushed my teeth, showered, sat down, and mindlessly scrolled on social media, traveling from app to app.
I waited anxiously for my contact-free deliveries.
I reminisced on what life used to be.
To be honest, I didn't always miss it.
I did some work, joined some Zooms, sent some emails, ate until I was full.
Memorized the reflection of my face on a webcam.
Sat and watched the news and all.
I'm so tired of living in interesting times.
This rotation of events went on for month after month, all while I was confined to my tiny apartment in Connecticut.
And I to my tiny apartment in Queens.
As a student, at first lockdown seemed like a relaxation period, a well-needed break.
I worked from the safety of home, while others risked their lives.
And so those COVID statistics were no longer statistics, but friends and family.
Until one friend got sick, then another, then another.
Until our 2 weeks of distance learning carried on to the end of the year.
Until I let go of every carefully made plan.
Until I was forced to watch injustices on the news.
Until it seemed like the world had shattered.
Until I lost my track what day it was, or even how long it had been since I last went outside.
And when no one was around, I removed my mask to sneak just one breath of fresh air.
I could no longer see everyone's smiling faces, instead I looked at her squinted eyes.
I learned there's more than one way to smile.
No more handshakes or hugs, now we raise our mask and cover our nose.
It's the least we can do for one another.
A basic sign of respect in 2020.
Because this year is happening to all of us.
Last March, I was walking freely around with no idea what was to come.
2 weeks turned into 12 months.
Since then, I have battled staying hopeful and motivated.
A new year, a new vaccine, and a new president.
Together we have grieved, we have grown, and we have felt all the stages of isolation.
Hey everyone, my name is Katie Zaborski, and I'm so thrilled to introduce my mentee, Ashley Quia, a high school senior in Queens. I've gotten to know Ashley and work with her over these past several months, and I will tell you that her writing superpower is the ability to take an experience or an emotion and write about it in a way that feels relatable, familiar, but wholly unique and original, and I think that you'll be able to see that with her upcoming piece.
In my piece 17, I explore the ups and downs of being 17 years old, from the pressure to be perfect to what I wish we had more of. I was born on November 19th, 2003 at 12:51 p.m. And 17 years later, I turned 17. With a tick of the clock, I became an adult, responsible, mature, and capable of anything I set my mind to. And while I know all those things to be true, I also know that I still sleep in my parents' bed sometimes, that I still pick out the marshmallows and Lucky Charms, I still watch SpongeBob SquarePants reruns, and I still drool onto my teddy bear every night. 17 is really young. It can also feel really old, but I don't blame that on us. Flashback to 14-year-old me. I was 5 feet tall and stumbling into the wrong classrooms. At the same time, I was expected to take college classes and think about what I would be doing in 10 years. Everything became blurry. Not just without my circle-shaped glasses on, but with the tears that filled my eyes every night from not being able to complete an assignment. All of a sudden, I began to think that I'm not smart enough, that I'll fail all my classes and won't get into a good college. And so, desperately search up the answer. For 17-year-olds, the internet is a blessing and a curse. It's a gateway to test answers, good music, and cats crawling upstairs. But it's also the doors to hell, with insecurities, bullies, and sleeping problems waiting on the other side. But as draining as it is to stare at a screen for hours, everything else feels like too much. That from the second I get out of bed and off my phone, 1,000 boulders will crash down on me. So I sit in the noise that fills my earbuds and watch videos with no end. But that's not what being 17 should be about. Being 17 should be about learning to drive, having movie marathons with people you trust more than anything. It should be about picnics on grassy fields, doing weird dances in supermarket aisles, going places a few blocks farther than what your parents allowed, getting into a little bit of trouble because it's only healthy for a young soul. 17 shouldn't be what it is. 17 shouldn't be crying yourself to sleep. 17 shouldn't be living in constant fear of failing. 17 should be young and stupid and full of fun. Because 17 is a great year, and I want to soak up every ounce of joy it has to offer.
Hi, I'm Lane Flersheim. I'm a mentor for Girls Right Now, and my mentee Shreya Pandit and I are in the website editorial pod. I'm a journalist, and she's interested in journalism, so in addition to nonfiction writing exercises, we've been working on nut graphs and leads and kickers and doing article critiques. Next fall, she is set to go off to the University of Indiana, where she's interested in majoring in policy analysis.
Hi, so our article's name is What Does It Mean That TikTok Users Are Getting Their News from the Platform? So me and Lane are both really interested in arts and culture and technology. I know more about TikTok and she knows more about Twitter, and we want to see the connection between news and social media. We also want to gain practical experience in interviewing professionals and learning more about journalism as a whole. Here's an excerpt of our article. Rahid Tahir, a high school student, avid TikTok user, initially downloaded the video-based social media app to watch political memes, but soon found himself watching videos that gave him news in real time too. He says he admires the platform's ability to include a wide range of voices. I think most news conglomerates are pretty center or right-leaning, and I like platforms where there's a wide range of public involvement like TikTok. Social media is revolutionizing the way we receive information, from beauty hacks to geopolitical conflict. However, its influence can also vastly affect the spread of information and misinformation, even potentially altering elections. In 2019, NPR reported that Facebook says Russian operatives may have reached up to 126 million people on its platform ahead of the 2016 US presidential election. In addition to Facebook, Twitter has long been a news source for its users, and even Instagram has taken on to this function too. The 2020 Reuters International and the Reuters Institute Digital News report found the use of Instagram for the news has doubled since 2018. TikTok is in the latest entrant.
There isn't as much data available on TikTok as on other social media platforms. However, the nonprofit organization Media Matters, which fights misinformation online, cites recent research that found TikTok to be a rapidly growing platform with the largest percentage of users between the ages of 16 and 24. Media Matters researcher Olivia Little also cites a recent Pew Research Center report that found about half of adults get their news often or sometimes from social media. So while there is limited data available, we can all see that the app is used to intentionally circulate and sometimes explain current events to young people, says Little. She cites examples including Black Lives Matter organizers using TikTok to broadcast information about the movement, as well as creators who use TikTok videos to brief their followers on the Georgia Senate runoff elections that took place in January. Users can benefit from this content. Says Little, TikTok users often create content breaking down difficult concepts or events, making them accessible to users of all ages. TikToks can be fun and funny, and also add critical details and perspectives that might be omitted from mainstream media narratives.
Hey everyone, my name is Rachel Cantrell, and I'm so proud to introduce my mentee, Anna Vaviakis, who I've been very, very lucky to be paired with this year. Anna is an incredibly talented writer and photographer and artist. The list goes on, with so many great ideas, including this piece she's sharing with you today. And I've really enjoyed our writing sessions together these past few months. So with that, I'll hand it over to Anna.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna Vaviakis. I am a young author at GWN. My piece I'm sharing with you is called Again. I wrote about 2020, the events that occurred and how it affected people. I'll be reading a blurb from it where a daughter and her mother are discussing 2020. This piece means to say that the world will never stay the same after 2020, but that does not mean things will get worse or stay the same. Things will get better. Be strong, be brave, and stay safe. So what happened? Young girl brings her notebook to her lap. 2020. Wow. Okay. There were many big moments, and I don't remember all of them. Granted, it was over a decade ago. My whole world was flipped upside down. I was scared. We started online school, which was supposed to be temporary. The mother raises her eyebrows. We had to wear masks outside. We could not touch the people we loved, and as if that wasn't enough, we lost some of the greatest people that ever lived. Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The mother glanced at the males only sign on the house next door, and so many more. We had to deal with injustice and unfairness left and right. We had to deal with losing loved ones and losing ourselves. And when we thought we hit rock bottom, we just hit it again. It was absolutely horrific. The mother puts her head in her hands. She is crying. Her daughter sits beside her, unaware what to do. People went crazy, and I could not blame them. No one could. I remember when the election happened. I had so many news tabs open on my computer and kept checking them. I was so stressed. But there were still good things that happened too. The mother wipes her tears away and looks up at her daughter, smiling. Timothy Chalamet hosted SNL with Pete Davidson. Man, I was what they used to call a fangirl. Donald Trump got COVID-19, and of course Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the presidency. That must have been one of the greatest and happiest days of my life. Everyone went into the streets and started to holler, blasting music and celebrating more than I've ever seen. It It was amazing. Seeing that celebration gave me hope to last a lifetime.
Hi, my name is Kiki Tom, and I am the mentor for Gabriella Calabia. And before Girls Right Now, Gabriella was a secret poet, but through the program, she's now released her poems out into the world, and it's become a more beautiful place because of it. So here's Gabriella.
Hello everyone. Kiki, thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm so excited to be sharing my work with all of you. Today I'm going to be reading my poem, Shadows of the Sea. In writing this piece, I thought about the intersection of my own journey and that of my great-grandmother's, as well as the incredibly arduous path she undertook so that I may have the life I have today. In this poem, I reflect on identity, legacy, womanhood, and coming of age in a real and painful world. So, without further ado, Shadows of the Sea. In my dreams, my great-grandmother and I are one. Our earthly bodies never took a breath together, but for a moment we froze as she departed the atmosphere, and I entered. Kissing my slanted eyes, she offered me her name. Our name. Now our celestial forms find each other again. She guides me through the village she never came back to. Fire licks the clouds. Dust in the barren field catches the air. Her house caved in from an earthquake. She says it was made of the ground and has now returned. Spices that only adorned her memory waft through us. Many things she doesn't recognize. Our motherland thrashes under the whip of corruption and greed. She cannot make baby bones and mutilated child soldiers beautiful. She was ripped away before the soft rivers turned red, and now she stumbles over bronze bodies strewn together. A girl is raped. Relief spreads over her when the knife cuts through her throat like butter. This could have been her. This would have been me. Betrothal shackled her up, and no longer can she understand the cries. What she does not say is that it was one death exchanged for another. She tells me many did not survive the passage at sea, their lifeless bodies thrown overboard. I picture all those wronged on land below the waves, their pain washed away and lulled to a peace they could not find. I wonder how often she wished to take her place among them, slowly sinking, the world drowned out.
Hi, I'm Princessa Santos, and I'm a third-year mentee at Girls Right Now.
Hi, I'm Camille Bond, and I'm a second-year mentor.
Despite the tough ups and downs that we've gone through this year, I feel like we were allowed to connect on a personal level and try new things that we've never tried before.
I totally agree. It's been so great to grow together this year, and I'm really looking forward to what comes next.
All Lives Matter is a poem that uses a creative way to express how detrimental and hypocritical the phrase really is. The poem is composed of both rhythmical and formal writing techniques, along with a section of a prose article that answers the question, what's wrong with saying all lives matter? Between both research and grammatical editing, the poem took about a month to complete. People always ask, what's wrong with saying all lives matter? All lives matter, but the gays can burn. All lives matter, but go back to where you came from. All lives matter, but he fit the profile. It is true that all lives matter, but it's equally true that not all lives are understood to matter. If we jump too quickly to the universal formulation, all lives matter, then we miss the fact that diversified people have not yet been included in the idea of all lives. As I turn on the TV, I wake up to see another dead black body mocking me. When I walk through the streets, old men watch me. Anxiety overtakes me. I pray to God. I get home safely. Whenever I walk into a store, employees follow me, always staying behind me. They fear that I may take something.
My name is Amber Lovelace. I'd like to introduce my mentee, Kyla St. Fort. Last year we focused on work, and Kyla reminded me of every deadline. This year, with video chats bringing us into each other's homes, we started sharing our lives more. Kyla is a moving writer, teen advocate, and leader. Amidst the stresses of 2020, she pushed me to stretch creatively. At the same time, I was encouraging her. It is very hard to say no to Kyla because she makes you want to challenge yourself. Our parapiece sprang from one of those challenges.
The following is an excerpt from our novel, The Sun Will Guide Us. In this scene, China has just followed in the mystery girl she saw across the ballroom in order to find out more about her, while Vera, on the other hand, has snuck into the palace's library in order to find out some more information about a secret that may get her killed. Please enjoy.
You don't look so common to me. China stepped closer. Are you from one of the main families or one of the branches? Though it's probably a branch, since I'm sure I would have noticed you before.
Maybe I wasn't common before, but I am now. My father died several years ago. I doubt you'd remember him. He used to be on one of the king's councils. Vera waited for China to get the implication that her father had displeased the king and linked that to the reason for his death. She inched closer to the ledger book. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years, surely long enough for her father's name to be inside.
Oh, China pulled out her collar awkwardly. She ran a few possible responses in her head. Saying sorry seemed like a bad call. It was years ago, after all. What would a sorry do?
Vera started to feel a little bad. China looked amazing in the tux, and it was her get engaged to a total stranger ball day. She didn't seem like a bad person herself. Maybe Vera should give her a break.
You look good in silver, China blurted out. Vera took a step back and raised her eyebrows. I mean, it goes well with your hair. Red and silver, fire and steel, like you're a warrior goddess or something.
Did you take a class in flirting? Vera asked, ignoring the little flip in her stomach that came from a princess in a kick-ass tuxedo telling her she looked like a goddess. She had to stay on task. She put her hand up before China could answer. And the real question, did you pass?
Well, my tutor says I could work on my attention span, but I think she's biased. Her favorite topic is bartering laws.
Vera pulled a face. I'm so sorry. She moved close enough to put her hand on the ledger. She tried to pull it open with grace and nonchalance, but she was apparently the first person to open it since time began, because instead it lurched open with a cracked leather belch and a flurry of dust.
Wow, those pieces blew me away. And I wanted to take a moment to applaud your piece. It was so amazing. Not only are you a great writer, but you're also a great artist. And I also want to commend your mentor and how she was able to kind of mentor the piece and develop the characters, and how you guys were able to work together to create basically like a cartoon, or like, you know, you guys were actors, you guys were artists, you guys, it was incredible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love seeing all the pieces and just all the variety and topics and formats. Really, like, these mentees were really able to capture both reality and escapism, and they did them so well and in all these, like, you know, new and creative ways. It's such a pleasure to be able to see it and to have it showcased. And it's just, I don't know, it just like blows me away to think that, you know, they're just teens. Like, can you imagine how, you know, what else they're gonna do? I don't want to say better because they're already great, but just like, how else are they gonna top this? Like, but you know they are, because they're all incredible. And I love everything.
Before entering the Girls Right Now program, most of my writing pieces were for the sole purpose of getting a good grade. Because of that, I didn't associate writing as a relaxing and creative activity. This all changed in a matter of weeks after going to Friday Night Salons and Saturday 360 workshops. These events provided me with a laid-back environment that was still structured and productive. I got advice from mentors and got inspiration from fellow mentees. I was able to unmute myself and write something that wouldn't be labeled by a number. For the first time, I wrote a lighthearted and funny story about my family and community. Girls Right Now helped me to unmute myself, and I think I've become a better writer because of it.
Before Girls Right Now, I strictly identified myself as a poet. I still love poetry, but Girls Right Now gave me the ability to step into the title as a writer. In the past 2 years, I've experimented more with form and genre than I ever could have imagined. I've also found the confidence to try new things with my craft because of the loving and supportive community that is Girls Right Now. With that being said, if you're interested in joining our community, Check out girlsrightnow.com/enroll to get more info about joining as a mentee or mentor. Or you can support our programming at girlsrightnow.org/give.
Now we've got lots more incredible work for you tonight. But first, we want to hear from you. Because every workshop at Girls Right Now explores a new topic, I go into them a little nervous and unfamiliar. But as soon as the mentees and mentors share opening lines, I feel warmed up and welcome. We want everyone to unmute yourselves.
And if you're on YouTube right now, please unmute yourself technically in the comments and just share whatever's on your mind.
Hi, my name is Maya Michelle. I'm 16 years old and I live in the South Bronx.
Hi, my name is Reniqua Allen Lamphere. I'm 39 years old and I also live in the South Bronx.
Our poem is called Melanin Tears, and we were inspired to write about it because we both are children of immigrants and we live in a nation that possesses different cultural values than our own. So the poem is about a young girl who was also born to immigrants living in America, but she's uncomfortable within herself and in the nation. Melanin Tears. What are you? What am I? How do I go about answering that? Black as night, bright as day, freckles scattered everywhere. She's different, I'm told. Well, I'm not your mode. Glossed, platter-sized, chocolate eyes, a button nose and 2 pairs of lips so bare, the upper brown, the lower pink. It's not discoloration. Kinky, oily, coily hair that I have no choice but to wear. They are tied into 2 tough puffs. Ouch, I shout. They are tightly bunched together, resembling inky irises. Sierra, nice hair, they say. It's quite exotic. Exotic, I think not. Maybe chaotic. I have curly hair everywhere. Better reflect through my silverware.
Insecure? Quite unsure. Conflicted? You may have predicted. Cheeks moist and tender, coated with a glaze of warm chocolate drops. Drip, drip, drip they go. From my cheeks to lips they melt. Felt from a state of confusion. But what am I, America? I love me, but maybe you don't. I am an immigrant, citizen, status unknown, Black, brown. I am democracy, and I am a demon, you say. I am your hope, your dream, your past, your present.
Your plague, crying into the everlasting night. I'm your pain, your promise, your slave, your president. I'm your foreigner, your future. I'm your tears, your joy, your blood-stained reminder of your new world run amok. I'm me, I'm you, or maybe I'm nothing at all. No, I'm something. I'm your contradiction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Zolaz. Because we couldn't meet up in person at all during this, our second year of mentorship, my mentee Brittany and I found a creative way to stay in touch and stay connected during these times. We started our own book club. To tell you a little bit more about that and to read for you a lovely lyrical piece inspired by our experience is my very talented mentee, Brittany.
Over the past year that we had not been able to meet, my mentor Lindsay and I found a way to pass the time by embarking upon the fantastical worlds of 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a world which both fascinated and amazed us with its extraordinary ensemble of female characters, and a world which we hope you will enjoy too. I am Brittany, and this is my piece, A March of Yellow Butterflies. The old woman possessed an inclination unlike anything else on earth which had made her astutely clairvoyant of the final all-consuming storm that would soon be approaching the town. As she sat in her favorite wicker rocking chair, awaiting life's last few moments, Pilar recalled the history of the village that the townspeople knew as Macondo.
full of men who hailed from fantastical legends and women who had brought them down with just a single pair of their guns. Years later, she'd even come to interpret the lifetimes of their descendants across paper cards adorned with mystic symbolism. And in the brothel where she stayed, contemplating, they were revived again in brief glimpses of her memories as she looked to the sky ahead, feeling strange and supernaturally perceptive in the room that she both lived and died in, thinking nothing but that it was only the natural course of life. So she knew with a psychic conviction, this was the end, but this was also the beginning.
Hi everyone, I'm Madeline McSherry, and I'm really excited to introduce my mentee, Micaela Pinto. Over the past 2 years, I've come to admire Micaela's bravery and her willingness to try new things. For example, last year, after focusing on personal essays, she decided to venture into fiction writing for the first time. So I wasn't surprised at the start of this year when she said to me, "I've never written poetry. I want to give it a try." We began in a structured way, working through writing prompts, focusing on form, style. But when that didn't stick, we tossed aside the exercises to focus on feeling, to write from heart to hand. As usual, Micaela's intuition and daring brought her exactly where she needed to go.
Hi, my name is Florencia Pinto, and today I will read you a piece that I wrote called These Days. This piece is about how it feels to deal with the struggles that grief may bring and about trying to move forward, taking it one day at a time. These days. Some days are worse than others. I wake up, repeat the same routine. Brush my hair, brush my teeth. I get stuck in time, carrying a heavy weight, repeating over and over in my head things I said, things I regret, and things I wish I had said. Some nights the storm comes. Pain and fears creep in me again. I can't sleep. You keep coming back to my head. Our long car rides, trips to the beach in summer. Your awful but funny jokes. The way your eyes got lost in the room whenever you were thinking too much. And the inevitable happens. I cry and ask myself what I did wrong. Why didn't I try harder? What would have happened if it was me and not you? I'm drowning. I can't breathe. I muffle my cries, pretend I'm fine. But some days I wake up and smile and want to try again. I open the curtains, let the sunlight in. I dress, braid my hair, put on perfume, looking at myself in the mirror, and wash and change my bed sheets. In the kitchen, I pour flour on the table, add water, knead the dough, add the butter, let it sit and knead again. Good days don't happen every day, so I make them worth it. On good days, I like to think of my future, the endless possibilities, moving away far from home and starting all over again, cutting my hair, buying a house, falling in love. These days you're on my mind, but in a good way. I hear your voice telling me to keep going, follow my dreams, like you did when you were here. Days like these, I know things will get better, that eventually I will be fine. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Agnes Bannigan, and I work as an editor in educational publishing. My mentee is Maxine Babb. Maxine is now a junior in high school in Manhattan, and we've been paired together since she was a freshman. Maxine and I have a lot in common, including enjoying writing fiction. But this year, we stepped out of our comfort zones by writing nonfiction and poetry. Today, we're going to read our poems.
Hi, I'm Maxine. Agnes and I decided to each write a poem about 2020 to highlight the fact that we're two different people coming from two different backgrounds, but share the same year. It was interesting to see how we were both able to portray our year through our poems for other people to relate to. We were inspired by the idea of people from diverse backgrounds coming together, and also the idea of shining a light on the positive things that happened this year. 2020. Confused, abused, broken down, tired. I don't know how to feel anymore. This year took so much out of my core. People dying, families crying, pandemics arising, protests and riots. In comes a recession. but some still haven't learned their lesson, unmasked, not doing their tasks. But in 2021, a new hope comes in, and if people don't like it, buy it in.
2020. I am like the year itself, conflicted and contradicted. I am ashamed of white skin. I am angry at a killer protein that I cannot even see. I am hurt and confounded by family who worships a monster and a dictator who lives to hate. I am so speared by what men do to women that I wonder if I could be with a man at all, but I am with the one I am with. I am also proud of good work, to have a job at all, to have a desk where I rest. I am safe in my new home that I own with a man who loves me and is not one of the warriors with a spear. 2020 was not all blazing incineration. I am blessed to be alive and well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashna Shah. I am Francis's mentor. This is my second year mentoring Francis, but just like at the end of last year, I am coming away from our year learning just as much as I'm sharing with her. And it's been a wonderful exchange of ideas and of kindred spirits. What you're about to see is, I think, a piece of her heart, a piece of her childhood and her background, and teaches us all something about the way that we grew up. Please enjoy.
Hi, I'm Francis Gutierrez, and this is my piece, A Generational Blessing. It's about things that you inherit maybe from your parents that can sometimes seem negative, but at the same time, I feel like people don't really focus on the positive of what comes from what you get down from your parents. So.
Hi Girls Right Now community. My name is Yvette Clark and I'm very proud to introduce my mentee, Shrihita Palapatula. Shrihita is a junior in high school. She's incredibly talented and I'm very proud to be her mentor. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shrihita and today I'll be reading a piece titled I Was a Good Radha. Content warning: drugs, death, and suicide. Your name is disyllabic Radha, after a writer whom your mother loved. L for love as in lust and lies. You don't need to remember that. Your mother was a sad stoic woman, used to freeze up like hail, rain dismissed to ice. Your father shut your mother up. You don't need to remember that. Your mother said things like, I was once a girl who was loud, I was once a girl who was loud and laughed, I was once a girl who was loud and laughed and looked like a heroine, say Savitri. I was once a girl who was loud and laughed and looked like a heroine, say Savitri. Pearls and string and tresses fluttering, I'd devour creamy butterscotch ice cream by the bucket. Then your mother's eyes would lick bitter green okra off her husband's dirty floor and whisper, I am now a lady. You don't need to remember that. When your mother swallowed, she did so out of compulsion, as if her soul demanded the glassy-colored pills that laced her tongue. Desperation took shelter in her eyes. Her body caved into itself. You need to remember this. You need to remember how your mother swallowed because after 8 years of marriage, accompanied by your now dead husband, a return gift from this party called society, you've discovered a massive stash of pills stuffed into a rich chest labeled surprise for my wife to be delivered shortly after I die from your dead husband to woman I brought up from nothing to something. You need to remember how your mother swallowed because the police are swarming your nest like venomous bees. They'll sting you all over if they find you. You need to remember how your mother swallowed because you don't remember your dead husband's name or face, don't remember what he did, don't remember a single moment in the 8 years you were married, don't know what the something he died of was. You need to remember how your mother swallowed so you can pretend you're dying while her ghost possesses you, so you can down 80 bottles of pills before the bees reach you, so the dark skin that wraps around your neck can learn to stretch thin then sag with your weight. You need to remember how your mother swallowed so you can mold yourself into the Radha you are expected to be, pure, so you can for once, when the police arrive, feel like a queen. Snarl, you won't find anything here with authority you have no right to as you put yourself to sleep no better than a bat would a bitch. You need to remember how your mother swallowed so you can suck the life out of your body before the bees do. You need to remember how your mother swallowed so you can protect a man who means nothing to you, a man you've never loved. You know then that you've been a good Radha. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Annie Bryan. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a third year mentor to the wonderful Liliana, and I'm a digital editor for a newspaper.
Hi, I'm Liliana. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a first year mentee and I'm a junior.
Liliana is easily one of the smartest, kindest, most creative, and justice-oriented people that I know and that I've ever been able to work with. And it has been a complete joy to learn from her this year, and I'm absolutely honored to witness her journey in writing and in life. And this is a piece that we wrote together.
Okay, here we go. In the morning. Slow, heavy, soft, and stuck.
There is the weight of 1 million cans of paint holding me down and a million tiny ants inside me trying to lift it up. But stillness is enough for me. I tell myself, you're never going to be ready for what's to come, so you might as well get up and try.
I close my eyes and picture something lovely. The sun streaming through the windows, the person I love at the foot of my bed, then stand up with eyes still closed. If I believe it for long enough, it might become true. I start with the littlest things, the ones that take no effort, the ones that remind me that I am capable of doing the others.
When it feels like there is nowhere to begin, I make a retroactive to-do list, a list of the things I've recently done or can accomplish in a moment, and I cross them all out. Eat something healthy, walk the dog, put the towels away. Then I write what I actually need to do next. There is a moment every day when I remember the vastness of the universe, the immeasurable options that lie before me, the infinitesimally tininess of myself, the short distance between me and the sun, the massive space between who I am now and who I was a moment ago. It usually happens before lunch.
Sometimes I wake up telling myself the second half of a worried sentence, one which began as I fell asleep and held its breath until now.
Without fail, every time I open my eyes and realize another day is already unfolding, I ask the person I love if I can do the thing. She tells me each morning, without fail, you can do the thing.
I open my curtains and remind myself of the routines we practice to keep ourselves steady. Then I brush my teeth. I wish I could take the time to remember what I dreamed of.
I have wished for 25 years to be a morning person, to exercise when I first wake up, to get more out of the daylight hours, to have my act together. I will spend the next 25 trying to remind myself I do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Morgan Lee Davies, and I'm here to introduce my mentee, Ruth Lee. Ruth is a senior in high school whose writing focuses on questions of family, identity, and what it means to be an American. Over the course of the year, she's explored these ideas through fiction, poetry, critical essay, and memoir, often melding genres to achieve an even greater effect. Tonight, she reads from her piece, Flight 1004.
So my piece is called Flight 1004, and when Morgan and I were kind of going back and forth on what I wanted to write about, I knew it had to be by identity. Going into college next year, finally graduating from high school, This kind of felt like the last step for me, everything that my family had kind of sacrificed, and I wanted to celebrate that, but also, find some truth in a lot of the hardships that I went through growing up. And my family did as immigrants, from South Korea, and this piece is the perfect place to kind of just let that come through. I close my eyes and try to hear the ocean song. The shining sun and refraction from the clouds cause phosphanes in the shape of anchors, and I open my eyes in confusion. I'm standing in front of a small townhouse. There's an outdoor bath and a patch of farm next to the house. In the distance, I can hear the honking of cars and see the industrialized city of Seoul blooming in the background. This part of town, however, is abandoned. Outside of the wooden door, sitting on a rotten bench, I see a small child crying in the arms of her parents. It's almost impossible to recognize them, but of course it's them. The frizzy, poorly box-tied hair on my mother as she pushes the glasses closer to her face. The same Polo Ralph Lauren navy shirt my dad seems to be wearing, and every single memory I have of him from my childhood. This means that the baby they hold is me, but how can that be? The diamond under me turns into sand, which pulls apart and reforms to create one word: Himan, hope. I look back at my parents, who are significantly younger than they are now, and see an unfamiliar spark in their eyes. They've reunited in Korea, speaking a language that they understand, and sitting amongst people who understand them. They're college graduates who hold stable jobs and are hopeful for a future that they can control. I land right back at home. I sit up, hearing the conductor call for my flight. Flight 1004, 1435 to identity. I run with my suitcases clanging on the floor behind me. There's only one seat on the plane. The rest of the cabin is filled with photos of my past. The image of the baby and my family remains in the innermost corner of my mind, but I keep on moving forward. Our journeys have forked to two different realities, and I've accepted that certain things are out of my control, including the power to change the family that I was given. One day, we will reconvene in a happier place. For now, however, I gather all of the moments and the people that have made me who I am, excited to explore the destinations life has yet to take me.
Hi, I'm Kelly Moffat, and I've been a Girls Right Now mentor for 2 years. My mentee, Jessica Zhang, is honestly one of my favorite people. Whether meeting bleary-eyed on Sunday mornings at a bookshop or on FaceTime during COVID times, she never fails to enlighten me with her writing. She's even working on a full-length novel. I'll never not be impressed by this budding author. Take it away, Jessica.
Hello, my name is Jessica, and I'm not as great as Kelly says, but Kelly is really, really awesome. And I could not imagine going through the past 2 years without her guidance. For our pair piece, we took photos from black and white disposable cameras, and we picked 4 photos from each other's photography collection and wrote short stories based on them. We cannot wait for you to hear excerpts from our end product, The Suitcase of Lost Things. Please enjoy.
Ritual. Every day I find my way to the folding chair. It is not comfort, but it will suffice. For I am but a man, and though you may stare, a man must sit if he is to avoid the vice. It is not comfort, but it will suffice, to see the children run past free. A man must sit if he is to avoid the vice, and remember what it meant to just be. To see the children run past free, I bow my head as trains rush by, and remember what it meant to just be. When I was small but felt like God and sky, I bow my head as trains rush by, gasping softly, remembering the air. When I was small but felt like God and sky. Every day I find my way to the folding chair.
Ode to City. I think I will always love you like this. From afar, you are only an idea. I fill the space of you in my mind. I pave your streets with asphalt. I build skyscrapers and hang lights upon your windows so that you gleam. I fill you with people, of all skins, of all walks of life, and of all types of love. I am still too far to feel your heartbeat, but I imagine it beneath my fingertips, pounding and trembling, as tender as a baby's chest pressed against a mother's palm. Over the water you duplicate, your edges blurred and hazed as if you are Atlantis, lost but found again in my imagination. I will always remember you like this. From afar, I am not yet a stranger, from a foreign land for which you are responsible, only a daughter arriving home, laden with expectations, which is to say, I still love you completely.
Let's hear it for tonight's performers. Wherever you are, give them a round of applause. What incredible work.
It's such a privilege to have viewed all these amazing works. And while tonight's theme is unmuting, it's important that we also take time to sit with some serious topics. Before we leave tonight, we'd like to invite all of you to join us for a moment of silence to honor the victims and those affected by racial injustice in this country and by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you. There are also times to get loud when you're standing up for what you believe in or showing gratitude. Please join us in thanking all of our essential workers and all fierce advocates for justice.
We also want to thank you, our generous agent of change partners, our Girls Right Now Circle, our dedicated board of directors and staff, our talented mentor and mentees, and all of you who joined us tonight.
If you'd like to support more amazing work like this, you can make a donation at girlsrightnow.org/give or join the circle at girlsrightnow.org/circle.
And if you want more Girls Right Now in your life, you can join us again soon at our Friday night salon series. We'll be writing ourselves into our poems with Diana Whitney and Lynn Melnick next week, same time. The next Girls Right Now Live is on Friday, April 23rd with Naima Koster, author of What's Mine and Yours, and another proud Girls Right Now mentor alum. Our upcoming events are also live on our website, girlsrightnow.org. Thank you once again to our performer pairs for sharing your stories and letting us behind the scenes of the process creating them.
Good night. Take good care, and we hope to see you again soon.